Hey everybody, I'm Erica Carlson with Bricks Real Estate. Thank you so much for joining me this week. I'm going to go through Wright County real estate data, and this might be interesting to you whether you're looking to buy or sell, or you're just a homeowner and you're curious what's going on in the real estate market. My goal is to take national news and condense it to very hyper local information that's really helpful to you. I think that when they speak at a national level, that's exactly what it is. And it's hard for us to discern as busy people. We just don't have time to say, like, whoa, that's including California to New York and Florida. And all these areas are very different from each other. The United States is huge. So let's talk about Wright County, and then I will touch on Hennepin County as well. We have 555 properties total that you can purchase in this entire county, and 507 have no contingencies whatsoever. So that's an important distinction. Not a lot of change in the recent past. Notice pendings went down just a hair and closings went down just a hair. So that's very indicative of the fact that there's not that many people house shopping. And I know it's hard to get like an idea of how this is on the scope of things. So just keep in mind, July 27th week was our peak of inventory. And those days are now behind us because, right, we're in September. We're moving into that fall market. It's just a different speed. Historically, that is just what happens in Minnesota as people become less interested in moving in cold months. I understand that. However, right now, just side note, you could avoid winter altogether if you move quickly. So moving on to my favorite data, which is showings per listing. And we're just looking at Wright County, 250 to 500K. So there are exceptions, and I can dig into other data, but we're just keeping things general. So when I say that there was a 2.6 showing per week per listing, what does that actually mean in English? It means homeowners, or I should say home sellers, are experiencing 2 to 3 showings per week on average in that price point. Those are not absolutes, they're averages. And in Hennepin County, they're getting 3.5, which is not a number that can actually happen. So 3 to 4 showings per week. So as usual, Hennepin County has a few more buyers than Wright County. That's completely predictable for probably fairly obvious reasons. Maybe not to you. If you live in Wright County, you're thinking, well, why not? But it's the outer area of the metro. It makes sense to me. Average days on market just came down a hair. So houses do seem like they're selling a little bit more quickly. And I get that data from pending properties, not all properties, which is something I changed a few weeks ago. I wanted to give you more accurate data. So the ones that are actually selling are on average moving in 34 and a half days and 23 median. So that just tells you if you were selling a house right now and assuming you were doing everything you could to get a quick sale, meaning the price is right, the condition is there, it's showing well, then I would say a couple weeks to a month and a half is about when you would expect to sell your house in the current state of things. This is relatively slow, just to give you some context. This is not a fast moving situation. I mean, I'm sure you can step back and just imagine 2 to 3 showings on your house it's going to be pretty slow feeling. And that's just generally how it is in the Twin Cities right now. When you look at the last 3 years, and that's what I have on your screen in terms of absorption rate, which is just a really fancy way of saying if no more houses were listed tomorrow, how long would it take before we ran out of inventory for properties? And it would be 2.5 months, which I don't know what that sounds like to you, but that's still relatively quick. There's not a lot of inventory is what that tells us. Now, compared to the last 2 years, we'll call them the pandemic years, interest rates were interest rates were lower than they are today. That definitely changed the way things were moving and people were experiencing real estate. So if you were house shopping, you took a break and you went back, you would probably feel the difference slightly. So bottom line is, like, where are we falling? Yes, we're still a seller's market in those numbers, because we'd have to hit 4, 5, 6, 7, somewhere in there to get more true equal we're definitely not an extreme buyer's market. There's a lot of people that are able to get closing costs, and we're back to doing inspections. So things aren't as high paced where everybody was waiving like everything. It's not quite that. However, I do think there is a little bit of a misconception out there that, especially people who need to sell a house to buy a house, it's just still not advantageous to not have that house on the market when you're house shopping. And it's just a constant conversation I have with people, like, you really need to stop house shopping until you're ready to list your house. It's doing things backwards. And we all know shopping is more fun than patching a hole on the wall or something to get the house ready. But doing these things in the right order will make the process a lot less frustrating for you. If you're looking at my paragraph, whether you're finding me on Facebook or YouTube or Instagram, wherever we're finding this video, you should see a link, and that's how you can get a hold of me. That's my contact information, and it links you out to all my professional social media channels. And I'd love to have you join me in whatever format is best for you. I'd also like to offer you a neighborhood market report. And if you're not comfortable giving me addresses, I have them set up for Delano, Buffalo, Rockford, and then the St. Michael area, I believe, where you can just click on those. They're pre-made. They'll give you the same information. However, it's ideal if you are willing to share an address, whether it's an investment property you have. Maybe you have parents that are thinking about selling and you are going to be a part of that process. So you want that data, a personal property. There's lots of ways we could use these market reports. You can sign up for as many as you want. It doesn't cost me anything differently. I set all of my past clients on these. I send people who are thinking about selling, and buyers can benefit from it too, because it shows you active, sold, and pending data. It gives you a great idea of what this like half-mile, 1 mile radius is doing. And you know, sometimes that's depends on your situation, but I would say a majority of people are going to benefit on some level, even if you're just curious. It takes away you having to run off to the internet with an exact address and find out my neighbor down the street is selling for this. Nope, Erica's just giving it to me. It's just an email. You can unsubscribe at any time. So take a look when you have a chance, click on that link. And then and I see my screen's not working. If you have any questions about real estate, or you want to start your house search, or you're thinking about selling, please join me on iHeartMPLS Minneapolis Homes.com. I'd love to see you there. I'd love to be of service to you.